The Miami Heat continue to be disrespected by NBA media, and today's disrespect is coming from Bleacher Report. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports, and what Bleacher Report did is that they predicted every single team's record for the 24-25 NBA season, and I was not too happy with what they graded and rated the Miami Heat. They gave the Heat a 45-37 record for this upcoming season. Now, granted, the over-under in total wins by Vegas is set at 44.5, so they are taking the over. And like you would have saw last week on one of the videos we did, I also believe that the over is a lock for Miami because over the last 5 seasons, ever since Jimmy Butler joined the Miami Heat organization, they have failed to get 45 wins just one time in the last 5 seasons when the year is actually completed. They obviously didn't get to 45 wins in 2 seasons in 2019-20 and 2020-21, but those were shortened seasons where they did not play a full 82 games, and they were on pace to get 45 wins or more that season. So to me, I think this is incredibly disrespectful for the win total to be set where it is, but Bleacher Report to have it at 45-37, I got thoughts. But let me know your record prediction for the Miami Heat down in the comments section. 82 games, how many wins will Miami end up having? I think 45 is a little low, and I just don't like the fact that teams are currently disrespecting Miami. It's one of those weird situations where it's just like, sure, us Heat fans, we can take down the Heat and have our complaints about the roster. But as soon as someone else starts to do it, it's like, yo, like, take it easy. It ain't that serious. We are better than what we actually are showing on paper. And I do believe that is the case. I went through it a week ago as well on a different video. When you have 2 top 20 players in the NBA, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, which don't get it twisted, they are top 20 players in the NBA still, because when Jimmy is locked in, there aren't any really 10 players better than him. And we've seen that consistently in the playoffs where he just is always performing and rising to the occasion. And Bam Adebayo, with his continued development here, he is always someone that is going to be a top 20 player. He's the best defender in the planet. And honestly, I saw it come out today that the NBA media and ESPN voted for who is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this upcoming season. And Victor Wembanyama was the runaway favorite. And then Rudy Gobert came in 2 and Bam was 3. I even think that's disrespectful to Bam Adebayo himself because he is way better than Rudy Gobert defensively and should be the favorite to win it because, one, he is the most important defender to his specific team. I get Wemby has the blocks things and deters people from the rim, but I think Bam is just the overall better defender, and that's just how I see it. But whenever you have 2 top 20 players in the NBA, you're going to have a chance to compete. And when the best coach with Eric Spoelstra in developing players like Nikola Jovic, Jaime Jaquez Jr. Continuing to come along, rookie Kel'el Ware coming into the mix this season as well. Like, there to me is just no way that Miami finishes worse than 45-37 with catastrophic injuries not being accounted for. Like, sure, injuries may come into play, and they have come into play. And it was actually one of Bleacher Report's reasonings for having Miami's record prediction at where it is. They said that they can basically count on Jimmy Butler missing a chunk of the season, which it's hard to disagree with them, but as I've said over the past couple weeks, I think we are going to see a much more motivated Jimmy Butler and have him have his best season as a member of the Miami Heat, because this technically could be a contract year for Jimmy. He has a player option for $52.3 million next season. He wants a 2-year Supermax fully guaranteed to replace that player option and have another year in 26-27. And if he does want to get that contract, well, then he is going to have to perform in the regular season and not just the playoffs. He needs to play in 65-plus games. He needs to average 24 points per game. He needs to look engaged offensively and come in and be a consistent scorer and initiator for the Heat offense night in and night out. And am I asking him to play all 82 games? No, that would be unrealistic for a 35-year-old. But am I asking for him to look like an engaged player for the Miami Heat this year? Yes. And if that does happen, then to me, the Heat are going to be a top 6 team at bare minimum in the NBA. Like, to me, thinking that a Jimmy Butler engaged player and Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, like, they're going to be a 8 seed again, I don't think that's going to be the case if they're fully healthy, and I think it's incredibly disrespectful for Bleacher Report to consistently put them down. And honestly, they're not the only one either. Like, other outlets have always said the Heat are going to be in that play-in again. Brian Windhorst, shout out to him, he doesn't believe that, as we talked about on yesterday's video, thinking that he said that Jimmy Butler is going to go scorched earth and really allow the Heat to be more effective in the Eastern Conference this upcoming season. But I don't think people are talking enough about some of the development from the Heat's interior players. I really don't. Like, Jaquez entering year 2, Jovic entering year 3. Like, you're going to see bigger boosts from those specific players, and I truly do believe that they're only going to continue to fit into this puzzle that is this Heat roster, which will make them more dynamic. Like, the Heat have always had an issue with size in the front court, but now you have a trio of Jovic, Bam, Kel'el Ware. If you need to play Kevin Love, you can play Kevin Love, who's an experienced center in the NBA. To me, I just think there's too much disrespect going on around the Miami Heat. Their win total is set way too low. Bleacher Report's predicting a 45-37 record. The Heat's schedule, I don't think, is that difficult. I mean, they play everyone, so it's really not even worth going over their schedule. They do have a rough portion in the beginning months in November. But other than that, I don't think it's that bad. We're going to continue the conversation here around the Miami Heat, but we are sponsored by PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app, and it's the only one I play while watching my favorite sports. It's so easy to play. All you do is pick more or less on 2 or more player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. You could actually win up to 100 times your money right now, turn 10 into 1,000 with as little as 4 correct entries. There are more than 5 million active members with PrizePicks currently playing daily fantasy sports, and your boy is absolutely one of them. You can do so many different things, which makes playing daily fantasy sports with PrizePicks so fun. You can go season-long projections. You can go daily projections. Like, I can combine different sports. If I want to do a football, basketball, baseball player entry, I can. You can do season long, you can do whatever you want, customize the way you play your daily fantasy sports, and it makes watching the game so much more fun. I have a 3-player entry for the NBA season, or basketball season, coming along here. Bam Adebayo, more than 9.9 rebounds per game average, more than Jalen Brunson, 6.8 assists per game. I believe he is going to really dish it out this year with the addition of Mikal Bridges. Less than Zachary Risachet, 10.2 points per game for him as well. Make sure you get started with PrizePicks and join me and the millions of others playing daily fantasy sports on a daily basis. Download the app today. Use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That is code CLNS when you download the app, or you can visit the link in the description and comments of today's video, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get that first deposit match up to $100. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. Back to Miami, because this is really a make-or-break season for a lot of players, right? We haven't even talked really much about Tyler Hero on today's episode, but he is probably someone facing some of the most pressure in this roster this season, because we have countlessly given him opportunities to be a top 3 player on this roster that wants to go out and contend. And he just simply hasn't rose to the occasion. It's disappointing to say that, but it's the God's honest truth. Like, in that playoff series against Boston this past April, it was disappointing to see Tyler have only one good game out of the 5 games played. Now, that one good game was absolutely elite, 24 points, 11 assists, shooting 50% from the field, and making 6 threes. Like, that is the Tyler Hero that we know and love. But he's been unable to stay healthy and stay on the basketball court, and he needs to do that this season. I think you can talk about Jimmy staying on the court. Tyler needs to prove it the most. I believe that he is going to come and play well. I'm hoping that he doesn't have like a crazy freak injury like he had last year against the Memphis Grizzlies early on in that November schedule, where he goes up for a floater, comes down and lands on someone's ankle, and then is out for a month and a half with a really bad sprained ankle. Like, I hope those things don't happen to Tyler, but the writing is on the wall, and the history is the history. He's been an injury-prone player, and I don't really want to see him continue to be an injury-prone guy. I mean, the Terry Rozier full season effect, too, is also very important as well. Pat Riley traded for him before the trade deadline last year, and he wasn't able to really get his feet under him for 2 or 3 weeks, and he also didn't really get to play with Hero, Jimmy, and Bam. Like, we've talked about it. Hero and Rozier only played in 11 games together last season. Yes, their ratings weren't good. 114 offensive rating as a duo, 117 defensive rating as a duo, is a net negative 3.0, which isn't ideal, obviously, and it's why I believe one of them should head to the bench, but they also just haven't had a lot of time to play with each other. Now getting a full 82-game season, if you get Rozier, Hero, Bam, Jimmy, those core four, your top four players, fully healthy for an entire season, and fully healthy basically means all of them playing 65-plus games. This team will be dangerous. I know it's a big if, but 45-37 is very disrespectful in my opinion, and I just can't get behind that. I predict this team to have 48 wins. I think a 48-34 record is very realistic for Miami, which would probably net them a 5 or 4 seed. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are going to have daily coverage of the Miami Heat. And when the season actually does come back in October, we're going to have watch parties for almost every single Heat basketball game. So hit that sub button and join us for daily coverage. I said that the Heat will be the 5 or 4 seed this year because they're going to have a record of 48-34. Well, where did Bleacher Report have them ranked? According to that 45-37 record, that actually is the 8th team in the Eastern Conference, and it would be the 3rd straight year that Miami is the 8th seed. Let me rattle off some of the other record predictions for you just to get a full sense of what Bleacher Report was thinking. Boston was 1 at 56-26. Sixers in the 2, 52-30. Bucks at 3, which is wild because they weren't that good last year, and they're not getting better than what they were last year. Another older year of Brook Lopez. Another older year of Middleton. Another older year of Portis. Another older year of Damian Lillard. Thinking Milwaukee's going to go 51-31 is absolutely ridiculous. Knicks at 4 with 49-33, but that's also where Cleveland is ranked. So 4-5 is New York and Cleveland for what feels like the 3rd straight year, even though it's not. Orlando 48-34. Indiana 46-36, and then obviously Miami at 45-37 being that 8th seed. I just will tell you that is incredibly disrespectful. I guarantee you the Miami Heat will not be the 8th seed. I will. I'm willing to do the Charles Barkley guarantee. It ain't going to happen, folks. Jimmy's motivated in a contract year. Tyler Hero wants to prove to the Heat organization and Heat doubters that he could stay healthy and be a 3rd leading player on a championship contending team. Bam Adebayo continues to improve defensively as well as offensively, incorporating a 3-point shot, which he displayed at the Olympics and did it extremely well. A full year of Terry Rozier and elevations in year 2 of Jaime Jaquez Jr. and year 3 of Nikola Jovic. To me, there is just no way Miami is the 8th seed for the 3rd consecutive season. They had a 46-36 record a season ago. You think they're going to get worse than that? Absolutely not, folks. They are a better team than they were last year, and they are going to be better and not the 8th seed. Take it down to the books. All right, we'll do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said, daily content surrounding the Miami Heat, and there's nowhere else you should want to be for Heat coverage. We have a very fun atmosphere here at the Heat Report, so hit that sub button. As always, Heat fans, I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Go Heat.